Hey, is it a good deal to get two vehicles for the price of one almost, if one of them is just really difficult to build? We're going to talk about it. Stick around. Hey, I'm Paul and welcome to Build and Bond. If you want to know more about this channel, please feel free to read up on it. I'm not going to bore you with it here, but I was not planning actually to review this set. This is a Speed Champions set. It features two Mercedes vehicles, and I was just going to do a build because I heard they were really fun to put together and interesting, and I thought I would just show that. But then having done it, I had a lot of strong emotions about it. I was exhilarated and also really super frustrated at the same time, and I thought I'd share that with you because that's what you ask of me. All right, so we're going to jump into each vehicle. We'll talk about the build process itself, lots of stickers, some pros, and a couple of cons that really were really heavy cons for me, and I wanted to share. I'm curious to know what you guys think, so let's jump right in. Okay, so this is set number 76924. You've got Mercedes-AMG G63 and Mercedes-AMG SL63. There's 808 pieces, and you get 6 bags. There are 2 instruction booklets and a bunch of stickers, different stickers for each actual vehicle, and you can actually put them together in whatever order that you want to. The yellow car, I'm just going to call it yellow for ease, is bags 1 and 2, and this is bags 3, 4, 5, and 6. And so this is a more complex build, so I thought I would start with this one, thinking that it would be the one that I didn't like. And boy, was I wrong. Both of them actually come with minifigure drivers, which is really kind of fun. I'm not sure if they're actually supposed to be based on anyone in particular. And one of the things that surprised me when I started to build was in the manuals themselves, there's no mention of these particular vehicles. There's no added information about them. And considering that the whole story around this series is about these real-life vehicles, and some of them are racing vehicles, right? Telling us more about that would have been really interesting. And I'm curious about maybe why they don't have that information. Maybe it's just they were worried that the different companies would find too many discrepancies or feel like they were being compared too much. Anyway, interesting. So we're going to start with our little yellow vehicle here. The Mercedes AMG SL63, that's a mouthful. And this is not the channel to compare the accuracy to real world, but to me this does look really good. So this, I'm going to call it Little Yellow Car, because I know that'll make some people crazy. I have to say, this was the delight for me. I wasn't expecting to love this so much. In my 25 plus years of building and collecting Lego, I've made a lot of cars and put a lot of them together, and this scale for me was really interesting. It's bigger than an average car, and it's a little bit wider is what I mean. So putting it together already, it's different. It's right from the get-go, it is different. And I think that made it really fun as a building experience for me. You can see the way that I'm handling it, that this is actually really solid, and I was not prepared for that. I knew there were a lot of pieces in this set, but I figured that a lot of them were going to be going into the larger model. So I guess this was really surprising to me. It's like this feels really playable, and design-wise, it's a beautiful looking car. It does have great stickers that give you this cutout along the edge here, which I really, really like. And you have this little open feature so you can see so you can look at that Mercedes logo inside the engine. Oh, well, it does otherwise really stay together really, really well. That was a good on-screen accident. I loved so much. There were so many beautiful uses of pieces that were really different and unique. And the placement, some of the build styles to give you these interesting shapes, I was really impressed by. And I thought it was overall probably the most satisfying vehicle build that I've done in a long time, aside from things like a Star Wars vehicle, for example, right, that has the iconic look to it. So if you were into these cars, this, I think, would be a beautiful addition to your shelves and a really fun building experience for you as well. Stickers, yes, there are stickers, and some of them were a little difficult because they're small. Some of them are really tiny, but it gives you this overall look that makes it really work. And to me, I just think this is an absolute win. Just to clarify what I meant when I was talking about size, I'm really talking about scale. So if you compare these to traditional city vehicles, you see that they have a different kind of scale completely. If I show you from the top, it's very, very obvious. It's almost twice as wide, really, this vehicle. So you actually can fit 2 minifigs in here as opposed to here where they're in there, but, they're behind each other to make them fit. That's what we're used to. So for me, building at this different kind of size this different kind of scale was really a joy because I hadn't done that before, and it made all of the building of this vehicle from the ground up feel new and different. Well, now it brings us to the AMG G63. We're going to call it the black car again, just because it's going to make somebody crazy. This was actually the reason that I purchased this set. Was in real life, I think this is a very cool vehicle, and I really was curious to see what it would look like. And I was excited to build it because I had built some other large-scale Technic cars, and I was like, oh, this will be really fun. And boy, doesn't it look solid. I mean, it's a beautiful vehicle. 360 degrees, it's really clever. The use of bricks in many places to give texture and shape, I think, is brilliant. It's beautifully designed from that regard. But you know, from the opening of this video, there's got to be some downsides. That is this one. It's remarkably solid on the bottom, and then the top, I feel like if you take the lid off, the roof off, lid, oh my gosh, my brother would hate that, it starts to get really, really weak and comes apart really easily. And I think picking it up makes it difficult. I know I'm making a point here. The back is loose, the front is a little bit loose, and that's because it's been put together in a really clever way to get these shapes that you really want. But it was a real challenge for me to process that after doing this, which is so solid. And so I expected this to be even more of a tank than it actually is, and it's a little bit delicate. And for that reason, I was really shocked that like this is the winner in the set, and this one is fine. Props, though, to the designers for really making it actually minifig scale. You can fit 4 people in here. There's even room for other stuff, which I like. And it rolls beautifully. It has the sort of the heft to it. And I'm going to pause and put this back together because I want to honor all of the great things about this. So hold on for 2 seconds. All right, maybe I'm being a little bit cranky. It only took me 30 seconds to put that all back together. The pieces come off cleverly, but I think if you want to pick it up like this, it can feel a little bit lightweight. One of the things about both of these that is an interesting choice to me, which I wasn't prepared for compared to all the city vehicles that I've made, is that the doors are represented, but they actually are not functional. So you cannot open any of these doors, but that's fine. That sort of contributes to the overall strength of the body of these vehicles. And together, I think they look really great. So with this one, were there more stickers? Yes, for sure. Some of them super clever, some of them a little bit annoying, but definitely much easier from a sticker perspective than this. So, I mean, this is a beautiful vehicle. Would I still love to have this in real life? Yeah, you bet. Was it more frustrating to put together? Yes. And another reason is because there were what I'm going to call those giant jumpers. So there's a lot of staggering of layers on this vehicle to give you the shapes as you're initially starting. If you're not really paying attention, that could be very confusing. And in fact, there were a couple of times when even as a seasoned builder, I did have to go back and redo them a little bit just to make sure things lined up properly. Because if you misstep there, the rest of it just doesn't work. So having never built a Speed Champions set before, and I have to say now I am really intrigued to do more, I didn't realize how much custom work was actually done in these pieces and these colors. So for each of the vehicles, there was a large number of pieces that seemed unique to me, certainly in my opinion as a builder, things I don't see very often, but things that really leaned into accomplishing the shapes and the facilitation of the overall look of the vehicle. And I, on one hand, I love that so much. And as a Lego fan, on the other hand, I'm like, oh, but that's almost like a cheat. Because you're really molding things that otherwise could be built, but because of the size and scale, you need to make these new pieces in order to get these shapes. So, you know, the back of this bumper, for example, and the back of this hood, it has to be that shape, and there's no other really way to achieve that in a believable way with traditional existing bricks. So you kind of have to get the cheat in, but it does kind of feel like a cheat. Listen, I'm going to say I loved it because I loved having all these new things. That's part of the fun and surprise. But as someone who would, believes in time travel, if I came from the past, I'd be like, well, this isn't really Lego. It feels just like you're putting together a model kit. And maybe this is what that really lives as. Maybe that's what these sets really are, is that sort of in between an actual model kit and a Lego kit. I'm not sure. I'd love to know what you guys think about that. It was a surprise, but I kind of loved it. All right, as I wrap up, three things that I really appreciate about Speed Champions that I wasn't expecting to. One is the price per piece count makes this very accessible. You get a lot of build and a lot of play for your price. It's a genius way to have entry-level stuff in a wonderful Lego build that's not an IP. So really kudos to them. Number two, there's a lot of variety, and I think that's really interesting. There's a lot of different kinds of vehicles. I'd seen it for a while. This one really stuck out to me because it was different. So I think they're doing a great job with showing you different kinds of vehicles that might tempt you. And three, there is kind of a reliance on custom molds, custom prints to be able to achieve these shapes. I totally understand it. It's fun to see those things. It does miss a little bit of that classic Lego build magic for me when the shape comes together without the aid of that. But overall, I'm a big fan. Just don't let that part drive you crazy. I know, I couldn't resist. All right, well, thank you for joining me. If you don't have this Lego set, don't worry about it. If you don't have any Lego, don't worry about it. As we always say here, you got this. That's part of being part of the community here at Builder Bond. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you can. I'd love to know, have you built any Speed Champions yet? I want to know what you think. All right, well, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Cheers.